Ryan. Um, I don't know when the next time I'm going to be able to talk to you is, so I felt as though um, I should put something together to explain where I've been, what I've been doing, and talk about what I want to do for the rest of my life. Um, when I came to live here down in Cyprus at Tanglewood, I saw a big gap between the older generation, the old farts, and the younger generation, the young punks. And the houses here were built in the 60s, and so there's the first generation, and there's families that have come through. And I saw that the old generation and the young generation weren't even talking in the same language. And with technology moving so fast into the future, I think that we have left some of the older generations behind, and I think that we're suffering from it because the wisdom that we would normally get from the older generations is not coming back into our systems, into our youth. So what I propose to do is I would like to go to the high schools around here and also the junior colleges, Cypress High School, Los Alamitos High School, and Cypress Junior College, and get kids that would like to get into home automation. All the kids now, they all know how to work technology, so it's going to be simple for them. And I would like to hire them as technical ambassadors to the older generation, and then kind of pair them up and have them be sort of like companions as well, as much or as little as they would like, but to help them understand technology to better their lives, such as being able to turn on the lights with my voice. I can say, Alexa, turn on, the lights, and she'll go do that, right? Or I can say, please play Frank Sinatra. I would love to hear that, and then Frank Sinatra will start to play. And so it's these small little things, and I think Grandpa, when he wanted to acclimate himself to the computer, I think that he was trying to do that in order for us to be able to remember him and you. Him and you, because he collected all the pictures, and I put together that your Colorado trip, and hopefully my parents let you see that, because there's so much more of that I can do, that I want to do for you. Just little montages of your trips so that you can remember them and you can see the places that you went. And the Colorado one was really cool because with the train, and looks like you had a really good time. So that's what I would like to do. And then after that, I call that Life Nation. We're going to kind of like automate people's lives, right? Like, we forget how much energy it takes to actually get up and go turn off a light and come back and sit down. Like, we don't think of that as anything really now, but it adds up over time. And if we can take that time that we would normally have to get up and walk, go to the switch and come back, and or even do other things, have things on automatic timers, we can do that just makes life easier for you, so that you don't have to really think about the mundane things. You can spend your time, hanging out with Eleanor, or doing whatever you do in your fiddle part time, So, because then what I want to do after that is I want to evolve that business, the home automation business, and another thing, it's a I've fallen and I can't get up solution, but an audible one. So, Grandma, if you're in your house and you fall, right? Grandpa fell all the time. As he got older, he was a klutz. You're not a klutz, but it happens to the best of us. If you fall, you can say, Alexa, call the police, and then she'll call the police, and I'm being quiet or else she'll really do it, right? So I'm trying to not evoke her. And so that's going to be called Life Nation. After that, I'm going to evolve it into cadence. And what cadence is we're going to be doing chores. We're going to be doing, like, if someone's still mowing the lawn, or someone's still, like, go to the store. Say if you're cooking something and, for a family and whatnot, and you forgot guacamole. Well, you can call us and we can be like, go to the store real quick and get it for you. It's kind of like having like your grandson ride down the street, but like the kids are going to get paid now. and the we're gonna get the adults. When I say adults, there's like the older generation, right? Your generation, and the adults I call like my parents' generation, and then there's like the kids, sort of. I think of mine, but I'm not really a kid anymore, but kind of I am, which kind of helped me think of all this stuff because I am a little bit, I guess, immature, with not adult, whatever. So, and so that's going to be a bigger business because by then we're going to understand like how many people are going to need things all the time for home automation and then also for the errands and whatnot. And then what I'm going to do too, so that grocery store to your door, meaning like we'll go get groceries for you, or we can go get small things, or run errands for you, or maybe you just want to just have dinner with somebody, you know, maybe maybe that'll be the case, and fantastic, perfect, because it's going to be a service. It's going to be people are going to pay like a certain amount a month. I don't know what that's going to be because I have to figure out what everything's going to cost and whatnot. They're going to pay for their own hardware, like if they want to buy a computer or whatever. But then we will help them with the computer, and we'll teach them anything that they want to know about the computer, and then they'll just pay their monthly fee, and then whatever they want they can have, right? And so basically, what that's going to be doing is we're going to get the wisdom of the old people back into the creating of the younger generations, right? Because if the older generation says we're taking our ball and going home, we're tired of being shamed and we don't want, they're going to take all the wisdom with them, and then the young kids are going to have to start from scratch again. They're going to have to prove everything, and we're going to take a step backwards. Like an Abba Zaba, when you sit on an Abba Zaba, right, for like a little bit, for like a long time actually, because they're really hard, but they're really good. And then you stretch it apart, it'll slowly break and bend, right? Just like an Abba Zaba, right? And like you'll get like the holes, and then all of a sudden it'll break free from each other. And then if this is like older generation, this is the young generation, and we lose the older generation, we're screwed, And so I recognize that. I recognize that that's one of the biggest problems. That's even like more a larger problem than race, because if we lose that, we lose it for like good, all the things that yeah, it's huge. I don't think that we recover from that for a very long time. And so broken argyle is basically, let's get out of the patterns that we are in just to be in because we were in them before, right? Let's always think about, should we be doing this? Should we be doing it? Okay, let's keep doing it. Okay, or maybe no, let's not do this anymore. Let's do something different. Because the way that life is working right now is not working for everybody. It's not even working for a lot of people, and people are thinking that it's working for them, but they're basically just being conditioned to think that everything's okay, and that's not cool. This is going to make life better. This is going to make life better for everybody, because not only do you guys get introduced to technology that's going to be cool. It's not going to be a thing to fear. My mom fears technology, and so she shies away from it. But it's not going to be something. We're going to help you do that. Like, we're going to be your advocates, right? We're going to, and we're going to kind of sort of like shame your sons and daughters. So like my parents' age, to be like, hey, you should pay for this because it's going to be helping save their lives. It's going to be making their life better, and it's going to be giving you less worry while you guys are at work. Now they're going to be safe. They're always going to have somebody, and I'm going to have like a technical ambassador like from each neighborhood, right? And so then everybody's person will be close, and if we need more, we'll get more, because there's plenty of kids to be able to do this that are going to finally get paid for their knowledge of things, right? And so everybody wins. Every person wins. And so what I would like to have here is I would like to make Larwin sort of like a learning place, a place where I've already made the walls magnetic, and I've made them so that you can draw on them and then erase it, so that we can put ideas up on the walls. Because when we think about this, if I put an idea up on the wall and somebody walks by and says, "Oh, I can make that a little bit better," they make it a little bit better, and then somebody else walks by and make it a little bit better, right? But it's when we keep everything a secret that like we don't expand, and we don't evolve, and we don't grow, and we don't go anywhere, right? So it's going to be a really, really good thing, and I've spent the last year of my life kind of setting it up, along with some other things that I'm going to talk about here shortly. But that's the basics of it, is to just provide a technical ambassador, and then somebody there all the time for you, to be able to help you with the stuff that maybe you know, your son or daughter can't do, or maybe you can't do, or whoever. It's really just to help. Um, and so another thing that I'm going to do is, as part of that, I call it the Bill of Rye. The Bill of Rye. So a lot of the older generations get screwed by companies that take money from them, like unknowingly, kind of like con you into. Remember, Grandpa got conned into paying $1,500 for bail money for me, and I didn't call, right? So we're going to be monitoring that, and so we would like to collect everybody's bills around here, and we will be paying their bills for them and letting them know, hey, AT&T just jacked up your price. It was because of this, this, and this, and tell you guys exactly what it is, and then we can make decisions on whether you want to keep it or whatever. Same thing, Spectrum just jacked up your price. It all depends on who just jacks up your price. But we'll be telling you about that, and I'll be able to, because what's going to be a side effect here is I'm going to have a group or a posse of very intelligent kids, right, who are going to be coming up with new things. Like, there's other things I want to do within the community as like side projects of Broken Argyle. Like, I want to take care of the coyote problem. There's coyotes that come down, and people are getting mad, and it's kind of being they kind of want to kill the coyotes, and I don't want to do it that way. I want to figure out like a smart way, right? And so Broken Argyle is going to do things like that, and that's what Larwin is going to be. My house is going to be like a place that's going to, like, we're going to have like a meeting room place, right? And we're going to have it's going to be a place where we can expand in our minds and do really good things, okay? And so that is that's the home automation portion of it, the biggest part. Yeah, I think now I'll talk about sort of the other projects that are like it. Okay. Okay, what I'm also going to do as Larwin, my house, it's called On the Grid, Off the Grid. Okay, so what that means is off the grid means you are not dependent upon somebody else to help you, like with your electricity or whatever. So I would like to make Larwin 100% solar, and make our community 100% solar, like the most nature-friendly townhome community in Southern California, or heck, the USA, is what I want to do. Is like a side project. So basically, we'll be taking energy from the sun and working with companies to maximize our energy that we can gather from it, so that it's free energy, right? The sun beats down and it just goes to waste, right? But if we can capture it, which we can, and then there's other people that hopefully are going to help us with that. Elon Musk has a company called Solar City, and they come down and do a bunch of homes, and they get electricity from the sun. It's fantastic. Water's going to be a little bit difficult, but we're going to figure something out for that. But also, we're going to grow crops. I'm going to grow crops here. I'm going to find a sustainable way, and not one that's going to be like a pain in the butt, but like I would like to work with the association on us being able to grow our own food here. Just in case. What if, in case something happens, like we could instead of grass here, that we just water, and it just goes to kind of sort of waste. Like, let's plant here, or do something that's constructive, right? And then we'll be learning about plants, okay? Because that's so use the corn for that. So that's another part of it. And then everybody who is going to be part of Broken Argyle, who's paying for the service, I'm going to offer these solutions to them to be able to put on their homes as well and save them money. Because the object is we would like to go into somebody's home, and from their bills and whatnot, be able to pay for ourselves, if not pay for more than ourselves, right? So it would be cool if, like, we could save somebody, like, say $50 a month, right? And then we get some of that cost, which is win for both, right? Because most of the time they wouldn't have known that, right? And so we'll be helping people. We're not going to be cheating anybody from any money or anything, because another part of Broken Argyle is I'm going to have all of my finances 100% transparent, because Broken Argyle is about transparency. It's about having all of the data, right? If you have all the data to look through, right, all the facts in the case, you can make your own judgment, right? And everybody's kind of equal if everyone has all the facts. But when certain people only have certain facts, right? That's not good, because that means that you have to make a decision off of not good stuff. Okay, and that's happening a lot around, and we'll talk about that. So that was that. So let's talk about. Okay. Okay. A big thing that I have been doing for the past year has been taking parts of nature. As you can see in the background, this is all bark from trees, from eucalyptus tree, from eucalypti tree, whatever how you say that. That I've used a washable chalk, wet chalk, to color and to paint and to bring alive these pieces of bark that were just laying on the floor. And there's eucalyptus trees that are right across the street that I go every day and I pick some up and I bring them here and I color them. And I've been leaving them on this restaurant called its name El Zarape. And every other night or every couple nights after I like finish doing one or whatnot, I'll go and I'll leave it on their doorstep and just like say like a nice saying or something that was just like on my mind, or I'm trying to bring the community into itself, because that's what it's really about. All of these efforts are bringing the old back into the new, but without saying, hey, we want it to be the old way, because we don't want it to be the old way anymore, because the old way was stupid, right? The old way was racist. The old way was dumb. We know that, Grandpa said things every once in a while that probably you cringed at, because I know that I did as well. And we need to be better about that, period. No more it's okay because it was that time period. That's not acceptable anymore. And we also can't go the other way of being too, like, pussyfooted, of, not being able to talk about anything, because that's fucking dumb too, really dumb. So we're reintegrating into ourselves, right? So we come along in life, right? It's just like the broken Argyle sign, which I'll show you in a second. And then we feed back into each other, right? So like we are always constantly assessing how we're doing, right? We're never getting too off track, because we are always like kind of we're looking at ourselves, and then we go take our knowledge and we run it through the ringer again. So like this, right? Purple down here is life and love and empathy and everything that's like good and feeling and everything, every good thing. And then up here is all the fake things, like time and money and things that like don't really exist, like egos, like lines, borders, things that like keep people from things, and division, suppressing information. Sometimes an ego will give you some information, and that essentially it's not lying, but it's pretty much fucking up the whole thing. So we come through life, right? And we come across a problem, okay? You come to a gorge, right? A big gorge, and you look across and you think, at that moment, you think of the bridge. You think of there's something that you can get yourself over there, right? So you think of utopia right then. Right when you get to the problem, you think, oh, boom, there could be a bridge that could be there, right? So you've already thought of the utopia, right? You've thought of the best thing possible. You created it. You brought it out of thin air. You were the creator of that bridge, right? So then what you need to do is you need to go and talk to the engineer, who the engineer then reverse engineers creativity. They don't engineer anything. Now, the engineer can be the creator as well, but most of the time it's not. So the engineer has to reverse engineer from creativity. So it's really the creative person that we really cherish, because they can take things out of the ether. They can take things out of the air and say, oh, okay, I can draw. I'm not an engineer, Grandma. I kind of knew that all along, but like I'm an artist, and two people have told me that, and it meant very much to me. So I'm cool with that. That's how I'm gonna roll now. So they reverse engineer. So the engineer is still very important, because they have to try to get into the mind of the creative person and understand it, and then build it from scratch. So that's a very important. It's not like it's not important. It's very important, but they're equally as important. It used to be just the engineers and the brainiacs, like they're the important ones, but no, it's the creative, it's the arts, it's the music. Music brings everybody together. Engineers don't. engineers maybe make things that, but music is what brings people together, right? Beats, pulsating together, right? So then we put it back into society and see if it works. If it works, great. Cool. You made a bridge and you got over it. Not a lot of people can. Okay. So that's that. Okay, here's... Okay. When I first got to Larwin, there was a gentleman that was a homeless gentleman. His name was Rafi. A little bit schizophrenic. He talks to himself. Kind of looks like me a little bit sometimes. Who I've been supplying him with food and clothing. He sleeps down by the mobile station. But I've been trying to help him get back on his feet, or at least just keep him going so that he's all right. Make sure he always has clothes and whatnot. So that kind of made me think of, we need to do something for the homeless. There's no reason that everybody in America can't have a home. I mean, even across the world. And so, connected home dioramas. And what I mean by that is, we're going to take those shipping containers that the ships, they ship like the cars in and whatnot, and we're going to stack them on top and side by side, and we're going to work with cities. Now, this is a couple years down the line. This is after the home automation business hopefully does well. And with the home automation business, we're going to make it very clear that when people pass, we hope that they would think of what we have done for them. And we were going to show everybody awesome things. We're going to blow people's minds. And so I'm hoping that we can possibly get some of that money when people pass on. Know that we are doing good things, not just carelessly or whatever, but know that we are doing good things, because we're going to be doing good things, and pass that money on to us so that we can use it to do these other things that are going to be beneficial to everybody else, right? So what I started to do is, when I first started kind of all of this, I knew that I wanted to help the homeless somehow. I knew that was going to kind of be a part of it. And so every other night, every 2-3 nights, I would buy 10 cheeseburgers from McDonald's, right? I'd go to McDonald's and buy 10 cheeseburgers. And then I'd go have dinner with the homeless folks. And I did this probably, 20 times in a couple months span. And I got some really good information on what we can do to help them. Because, people try to impose things on people rather than say, hey, what do you want? And let's figure it out, So this is Rafi. This is Raphael. So we're going to take the shipping containers, and then hopefully we'll be able to allocate small areas of land where we can put these, and then there's a lot that's going to have to go into that, and that's just that's kind of like a far out there one, but I want to tell you everything that I've been putting together. Okay, so that's that. Also. When I first started out, I had gotten the brokenArgyle theory at AT&T, and I thought of it there, and I knew that I wanted to give back to the creators, the people that I had maybe taken for granted for all the years that I've loved music. And so I started to go to just a bunch of concerts. I went to Alter Bridge, they're a great band. Shinedown, they sing Boom. A good song. 311, that was cool. Skillet, they were really great. Really great band. Korn, they were good. Five Finger Death Punch, they kind of started it off last year. And so I went to all these concerts, and I went there because Fire from the Gods, yeah, that's a very good one. To End Transmission, that's a really good song. Bad Religion. So I went to all of these concerts, and when I had, but one of the last things I did at AT&T was we went on a team building exercise, and we went to Dignity Health in Los Angeles. And while there's a gentleman named Sid Oxford shoe that I drew, he told the story of the place and how they could use a lot of help in a lot of different places. And I listened, and I heard everything that he said. And from that day on, I kept my ear out and I kept my thinking cap on of how I can help them. And so, with everything that happened with Greg, I don't know if you know this, Grandma, but for about 2-3 weeks before he passed, every third night, the McDonald's nights, I would go to Greg's and try to get his attention. Uh, I obviously didn't know that he probably had already passed by the time that I was there, but I was going to talk with him about helping me with dignity because I knew how much he was amazing at any instrument that he picked up. And so I would like to try to start a music program, a music appreciation program at Dignity Health in Greg's name. And I don't know how I'm going to do it, but maybe when we get some money from some of these old farts that, croak or something like that, we can do that. I'm not banking on any of that, but I just know that we can do all of these things that I've imagined. I think we can. They're very simple to do. So let me get back to one of the other things, the El Zarape. It's the Mexican restaurant. So I've been leaving them the artwork that I've done here, and I think that I hope that they've been enjoying it. I don't know. They could be like taking it, throwing it away, or whatnot. But I've been doing it for like 6 months, just to kind of create like a mystique. And every night I walk around the nature park and even farther, and I pick up litter, and I make sure that sometimes I go late at night because I have changed my sleep schedule a little bit to be able to accommodate to try to figure out the coyote issue. I want to figure out how we can help the citizens of Cyprus cope with the fact that there's coyotes running out, because they do get a dog or a cat every once in a while, and that's not cool. So that's that. So I call that portion of this Cyprus-toration, meaning like we're kind of like restoring Cyprus, and that's sort of how I have my house decorated as well. I don't know if you can kind of see, but I've taken the wood from the nature reserve and used that and repurposed it, because I've also had a lot of Sonos speakers here that I have been testing as part of this, as far as where to put the speakers in the houses so that they sound good. And I've done a bunch of different experiments, kind of, that maybe I'll put on this thing, or maybe you can see it later. But I also have been talking with Ralph's about what I have, what I've been really trying to do is, here's the coyote. What I've really tried to do is throw my network, the internet network that I have at my home, which is about, maybe 500 yards from the Ralphs, and I'm trying to throw my network, meaning like if you're at Ralph's, you can still get internet access from my house, and I'm trying to do that via an Orbi, a networking machine, we'll say, a couple nodes, and I've almost gotten into it. There's a couple tweaks that I need to figure out as far as like the orientation, but because what I want to do is I want to be able to provide this shopping center with free Wi-Fi that's going to be like underneath the brokenArgyle umbrella, and so then people will be able to use their phones, and then they will it'll kind of be like free advertising, sort of, I guess, or something. So, but that's been kind of fun because I don't do network stuff, and I learned a tremendous amount from doing this network thing. Another thing that I would like to do is everybody's journey with their older generations. I would like to capture and put into like a small, like an Instagram account, which means just like pictures. And I'm going to make a story. It's going to be called, Tangled Wood. And it's going to be just kind of like a sort of a take on life that I have that's going to involve some of these characters. I don't know if you can see down here. Yeah. Just these are kind of just random characters that I've just drawn. And I'd like to do that as sort of like a side thing that I think would be kind of cool. Let's see. And then Okay. Oh, also, the landscapers and gardeners and everybody that does the grounds around Tanglewood does an immaculate job. It's amazing how green and beautiful they do. And I've heard some of the people who live here talk to them, and I kind of feel bad because they kind of talk down to them. It's not, and that's not fair. And so ever since I've been here, every day I always go out and I give them sodas, and like when I have candy around, I give them candy and stuff and whatnot. And that's just part of like the broken Argyle mentality. It's just we are going to give and give and give, because that's what I did when uh, after AT&T, I knew, I said, you know what, I'm just going to give and give. I'm gonna, everything that I have, I'm gonna give, and I did. And I gave my time. I gave I did as much as I could, and I feel that I am in a very good place right now, because let's see, was there? I think that's pretty. I think yeah, that's. Oh, no, that's not it. Because Grandma, this is what I eventually want to do. And when we talked about it a year ago or so, I was dead serious. At the 2028 Olympics, I want to be able to synchronize the world and play one song in any language that anybody wants and with any instrument that they want, um, to show that our differences make us united. And I think that we can do that. And I would like to synchronize Tanglewood first, my community, and see if we can do that. If we can demonstrate that, then we have a demo for like the Olympic Committee to be able to do something of that proportion. And wouldn't that be cool? In 10 years, we could do that, Grandma. I know that we could do that because I worked at Boeing, and Boeing has the satellites. And I worked at DirecTV and AT&T, and they got, well, you know, they have like an internet connection and some TV. No, but we can do this, you know. And then it's gonna pick up speed, and like people are gonna be like, "Oh, that's great. Let's get in on it." And I think it's, I already have some traction, and I'm going to be talking with. I'm going to be submitting this to Sonos, and we'll see how that goes. Because I hope that. Well, I don't want to say what I hope, but I hope that we have a partnership together because their speakers are amazing, and regardless if we don't have a partnership after whatever, I'm still going to sell their speakers if I am still doing Broken Argyle, if I can still keep Larwin, because I haven't. Okay, so that's one of the last things that I did is I have purposely let all of my bills go to zero and go to like my credit cards. I let those. Haven't paid those. I've let my bank accounts go to zero. I let everything go to zero. My car payment. I haven't paid my house in months, and they're going to sell my house for foreclosure February 22nd. But I've done it all purposely. There was a point where I said, I'm not going to be able to get Broken Argyle up and running because of things that happened this summer that were just ludicrous, but they happened, right? And I didn't want to go to the vice principals and the principals half-assed, right? I wanted it to be genuine and right and good. So I held off. And so I purposely let them go to zero so that I can understand the thresholds, the days at which they call you. When do they send somebody? When do they send a notice? When do they start charging you? So I have all of these companies, Discover Card, AT&T, Spectrum, all of their cadences. Cadences is like intelligent, like sort of timing, like the way things fall, sort of. So I know that when each of these are going to be calling, because when I take over people's bills, right, that I'm going to be helping, I want to know all that information. So that information is vital, right? So I like my credit, I think, is like probably at zero or something like that. But I had faith that it was going to work out because Grandpa always said, Grandpa withAm always said, it's always going to work out. That's what he said. Grandpa Moore gave me the Argyle socks. Grandpa withAm said it's always going to work out. And Greg, well, he didn't give me my singing because I suck at singing, but he may have given me some
maybe some guitar skills, maybe some rhyming skills. I don't know, but that's who I'm. Those are the three that I'm doing this for, Grandma, because I think that collectively that they would love all this. Because I want to work with Edison too. Because I want to work with them and have them be a part of this as well. Because we need electricity. So, um, I created this video just because I knew that I was going to be able to get close and talk to you, because my parents have said, I'm sure, some horrible things. And yeah, Grandma, I'm growing pot. I'm growing marijuana, and there's some things that we need to understand about marijuana. One, there's two parts of it. There's the high part, we'll say, and then there's the CBD portion of it, um, which I believe is going to replace Tylenol someday, and Advil, and some of the lower level drugs, and even some of the higher level drugs that we take now. Because there's an opioid problem in America, and it's overprescribing drugs, opioids specifically, that is literally killing people. And pot has some medicinal portions of it that are going to help that. Also, I don't take my Vyvanse anymore, my amphetamine Vyvanse, because it gave me the shakes. Right, it calmed me down from my normal, but it gave me the shakes, and I was tired of it, Grandma. It sucks to have this. It sucks. So I smoke pot now, and what you've seen, and you've seen that I've been relatively coherent, except when I forget a word every once in a while, but that it doesn't affect me. It basically it hones my thoughts so that I can give it to the world nicely, more elegantly, rather than blah blah blah, because I can do that, but it is helpful for ADHD, for your arthritis, the CBD portion of it, which we can kind of push to the side and have it on its own, and give to you in the form of like a drop, where it just tastes like honey, and it would help your arthritis. It would help Bob. Didn't Bob have knee surgery? It would help his knees tremendously, tremendously. And we gave it. What we tend to do in society is something happens to us and we say, "Oh, ban it, forget it." And we did that with pot, and it's dumb because there are so many things that we can learn from it. Because, Grandma, let me tell you this, and I say this as I'm not joking whatsoever. I'm not an alcoholic anymore. I don't have the craving for alcohol that I used to have. That I used to lie and tell people, yeah, I don't have the craving anymore. But I don't have the craving anymore. And it's because I took psilocybin. I don't think I ever say that right. But basically, it's mushrooms. And they're learning that it has relieved people of depression, anxiety. It showed me my ego. It basically brings you down to a level when you consume them. And I dosed myself. I microdosed myself, which is, I studied it before I did it, and it worked, because when I was 9, I remember smelling my dad's beer and it smelled gross. But then after that, after I sipped it and everything was all, years later, I never smelled it that way again. After I microdosed, I smelled beer and it smelled the same way when I was 9. And now it's like, I haven't had a beer, I don't think, in 6 months. And I had one, I think, and I couldn't choke it down. Now, Grandma, you know how bad alcoholics can be, right? With your father. I don't have it anymore. And it may have something to do, maybe the pot is helping accommodate that as well, but even, because I could be fine without pot. I don't have to smoke pot. But when I do, I can hone my thoughts better, and I can basically have the same effects of the Vyvanse that was giving me shakes, that was an amphetamine too. There's this rumor going around that I was on these other drugs, methamphetamines. But I didn't. I was trying to wean myself off of the amphetamines. So it just, I can't help what other people say. So it doesn't matter. But that's my truth, Grandma. And these are all the things that I would like to do. And I'm not here to ask for money, but if the withAm family, because what I'm thinking is, you're at some point you're going to need to move someplace. Well, why not move down here with me? We'll get a dog, right? You said that you want to like a little puppy, right? When you get too old to want to live by yourself anymore, come down and you live with me. It'd be cool. I'm not gonna. My parents have, pot is like the boogie monster to them, but talk with Bob about pot and what he knows, because he'll tell you, and he'll even tell you about the mushrooms too. I'm sure. Okay, because I think I'm growing pot here because I want to be able to take it apart and understand it and hone it. I want to be able to make the strains go in certain ways, so that, like, okay, this one is going to make, if you have insomnia, this is how it's going to help you. Or if you have arthritis, okay, this one's going to help you because it's going to help you with your joints. So we're growing. My neighbor and my neighbor's like a scientist, and so we've been like doing it and experimenting. It's pretty cool. So I invite you to come down here. I don't know when the next time I'm gonna be up there, because my parents just, they have, and I don't think it's right for them to have any part of Greg's estate. Greg wouldn't have wanted that. And I'm not saying give it to me, but these are the things that I'm gonna do if I can get this going. And I at the start of all of this, I declared two people. One, a Republican. She's one of my friends from school, but she's a hardcore Republican. And then another, my mentor from Boeing, who's now I think he's the president president of Ohio Valley College in West Virginia. Very smart man. His name is Jeff Dinnick. He's a brilliant man. And I already said that those two would be in charge of whatever funds came to brokenArgyle. So it wouldn't be me that was in charge of funds, even if, like, say if we got them from somebody that donated them, like, down the line, right? It wouldn't be me just dictating where it goes. I've already put provisions in there because I'm smart to do that, because it's not the money that I'm after. I hate money. If I could get rid of money, I totally would. Totally would. But we have to deal with it, I guess. So I know that I've missed a million things. I miss you dearly. And I hope that this gives you a little look into what I've been doing. And I love you, Grandma.